Well, hello and welcome to a new video where we are going to take a look at the performance of the Dell Precision 5550, which is the 2020 version, and we have in our machine the Nvidia Quadro T2000 as well as the i9 CPU, and they are accompanied by 32GB of RAM. And we are playing Crysis 3 at 1080p, and we are playing with the very high graphical settings, so very high textures. Let's set them to very high, and very high, which is the highest system settings. Let's take that. All right, and we're off into the game, and I actually disabled the turbo boost of the i9 CPU, which should in fact be 2.4 gigahertz. So I'm wondering why we're only seeing 2.3 gigahertz right now. But you can see at least that our T2000 is drawing the 40 watts it is supposed to draw. Alright, and this is 1080p, obviously the very high settings. And right now we are barely above the 30 FPS mark, or barely above the 30 FPS, but I'm barely hitting the 40 FPS. And yeah, so I guess we're playing around 35 to 40 FPS at the moment, which isn't so good. I actually did believe that this game should be performing a little bit better than what we are seeing, but maybe that is due to this level being very intensive. I don't really know. But yeah, apart from that, it seems to be running quite fine. And obviously, even though it is quite a few years old at this point, it still looks great. At least as these very high settings. Alright, we're inside, so yeah, usually our FPS should go up, and they are. Not bad, not bad. Okay. And what I really like about this machine is that you can barely hear it. I mean, listen to this. You can really not make out any of the sounds of the machine. I mean, obviously you don't know how it sounds in real life since you are not here in the room with me, but just believe me when I say that you can barely notice that there even is a machine running next to you. So that's really good. Alright. But yeah, it doesn't really seem like our FPS are going up, which is quite surprising to me, because I would really think that at least inside we would in fact get some better FPS here. So I am pretty surprised that we are in fact not getting any better FPS than we did outside. At least not really noticeable. And I'm gonna take a shortcut here. Because why not? Well, at least in events we're getting a little bit higher FPS. But yeah, even though it isn't perfect with the 35 to 40 FPS, it's still very much playable. And obviously in here with the almost 60 FPS right now, but we do see some dips here and there, it is still very playable. And at least as of right now, it's really good that our GPU does not throttle at all. So we're getting the constant 40 watts on our GPU. And we can also see that due to the fact that I did limit the CPU to the 2.4 gigahertz, which it's actually supposed to draw, or should draw, we're only seeing 65 degrees on the CPU as well. So that is pretty nice, pretty nice. But yeah, what we are gonna try to look at, if this guy is finally finished. Oh, only 20 FPS there, but it's loading something in, so I guess that's normal. Is that we are going to dial down the settings a little bit from very high to just high. to see if we are getting a performance gain. And shitting me, yeah, we do get a huge performance boost. What the fuck? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, we only had 40 FPS a few seconds ago at this exact same location, and now we do have 60. It's bewildering to me that we do see those drops though to the 20s. But yeah, apart from that, we're now seeing over 60 FPS with the high settings instead of the very high settings at 1080p, and that is looking very promising. I am not going to lie. And I mean, I guess there is some degradation or degradation in the visual quality, obviously, as you dial down your settings. But to be honest, I don't really notice that at all. For me, it's just as good looking as it is as it was before. So yeah, the only thing I really can't stand, I really don't know what is happening there. Maybe it's definitely not our VRAM, since we're only at 1.4 gigabyte right now, so we should be absolutely fine there. But I have no idea where these drops are coming from in frames, where it's dropping down to the 30s all of a sudden, just to go back to the 60s a few seconds later. But yeah, apart from that, it has been a very nice and playable experience so far. And I guess if this doesn't change over the course of the coming levels, then you should have a very good time playing this title actually.